This week's episode was brought to you by the generosity of listeners like you. The Whole Rabbit, after all, is a passion project held together by popsicle sticks, duct tape, and the continued effort of our co-hosts, which, despite the pressures of mundane life, continue to research, write, and share with you our strange discoveries each and every week. With your help, The Whole Rabbit continues, without a sponsor or proper broadcast credentials, to broadcast our signal across the world as part of a collective brain working tirelessly around the clock to decode the messages hidden in plain sight and arrive at the eschaton fully loaded and ready for battle with apocalyptic forces unspeakable. If you'd like to join the fight against the mad ontology of the blind idiot god, or just hear the second half of this episode, then please visit www.patreon.com/thewholerabbit, where your monthly donation of just $5 will not only earn you brownie points with the Barbello, it will get you access to the second half of this episode and every single one of our episodes by the Whole Rabbit podcast, delivered to your immediate local dimension at the speed of money for your ears only, digitally delivered to your device and even browsable in its extended episode format directly within the Spotify app, making the years of content we have to binge easier to browse. And you'll probably want to do that as we've discussed everything from space dolphins to quantum ice cream, and listening in order is guaranteed to induce some madness which only may be purged by rituals within the Greek magical papyri. You've been warned. If you enjoy The Whole Rabbit but would like to save your $5 for a moderately priced pack of individually wrapped slices of American cheese, then please consider giving us a share on your social media platform of choice, or absconding with a friend's device and subscribing to us on it, and closing the app before they have a chance to know what damage you've done to their future social credit score. Also, if you know Neil deGrasse Tyson personally, please do the opposite and pretend this show does not even exist. God forbid if Neil deGrasse Tyson ever does manage to first locate and then secondly begin listening to a recording of this podcast, the entire universe is sure to cease existing itself. Don't ask me how I know. I would explain why, but only Neil deGrasse Tyson is capable of understanding the explanation, and of course, you can see the conundrum that places upon all of us. In this week's episode, we explore how Christianity began to shift ideas about ghosts, which had been around since ancient times, specifically in terms of ideas championed by theologian philosopher Thomas Aquinas, in regard to intercessory prayer and purgatory. Along the way, we discuss how Indulgences helped pave the way for the Reformation, and how Tibbie Mortimer disguised herself as a ghost for love. In the extended side of the show, we discuss how to create your own custom ghost. We don't need Tibbie Mortimer. Ghost fire, inappropriate ghost spread, Truckstop Shintoism, doppelgangers, the devil's footprint, and the mysterious case of the Winchester Mystery Mansion. Thank you, and enjoy the show. What did the ghost pirate say to the other ghost pirate?
What?
Aghast ye!
Wow.
Why did the chicken's ghost cross the road?
Is the same answer to get to the other side?
To
Yeah.
come from the other side.
Oh. And go to the other side. Because when you're on the other side is the other side.
And the chicken got killed before it got to the other side, so if you were a ghost, I would go see what was on the other side.
Yeah.
No, the other side is a metaphor for dying.
Yes, I understand that.
So you can't, anyway.
But to the dead, the living side is the other side.
Yeah, we want to see what was over there.
What do you call a ghost of a pie that you can't throw away because it keeps coming back?
What?
A chew pie?
A boomerang.
I don't get it.
Think about it.
Oh, meringue. Oh my God.
No, French is not a real language.
Je suis fatigué, mon ami.
At least you didn't say meringue.
It's true. We'll talk about it in the episode, but they say that a ghost may try to deceive you, but don't worry, you'll be able to see right through them.
Oh, jeez.
All right, what do you call a ghost that writes a book, titles it by describing a problem, and then putting her own face on the cover?
What?
An Ann Coultergeist.
I don't get it.
A Narcighost.
Oh, wait. That's a real person.
You're Canadian, so that's okay that you don't know. Look at...
I don't kind of get, I mean, she's like a news anchor, right?
Oh, she has kind of mean eyes.
Yeah, she's like, stereotypically decent-looking blonde conservative book writer, but she always writes these books that are like, infidel, and then she puts her face on the cover, or like...
Oh yeah, okay, I get it.
Treason.
Treason!
She's got
So
her
she puts
face.
herself on it. It's like, come on. Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Whole Rabbit, where we don't just curse the Lord of the Underworld accidentally while attempting to enjoy classical Greek literature on the subject of practical necromancy. Nay, we also explore the wisdom of medieval Christian philosophers and theologians to explain why ghosts continue to go bump in the night when they're supposed to be busy sorting Satan's underwear in hell. Because this week, we're exploring ghost lore as it evolved into Christendom and what the house rules are in Purgatory. Because that's an important part of the whole thing. I'm your host, Luke Madrid, also known as the Hack Rabbit. I'm joined this week by our active duty squadron of co-hosts, the Wonder Dog, Marisama.
Woo woo!
The Sparkle Pony of the Night, Heka Astra.
Hello.
And the Templar of the Transcendent Truth, Tim Hacker.
Remember, the most important thing is to always believe in yourself and also aliens.
Nah.
They should stop teasing it. Just tell everyone everything, even if we don't understand it, and just see what happens.
Agree.
They tested everything. They know we're not going to understand. And that actually comes up in this episode just a tiny bit, because wouldn't you know, people have been seeing weird shit since forever. So last week we discussed how humans, as a collective, mostly in the West, have considered ghosts, spirits, and the agency of the dead, especially in terms of haunting and paranormal activity. Because wouldn't you know, when Jesus Christ appears on the scene, all the rules get shuffled. And we're here to talk about how they got shuffled and what we think about the ontology of ghosts today.
The evolution of spectral lore reflects a long march through history, twisting through the shadows of Judaism and early Christendom before hitting the medieval obsession with purgatory. From there, we see the Renaissance dabbling in necromancy, the wildfire of 19th century spiritualism, and even the bizarre overlap of modern UFO phenomena. Over the centuries, these entities have morphed from the hollow shades of antiquity into souls begging for intercession, spirits summoned by mediums, and enigmatic lights that some now mistake for visitors from the stars.
Yeah, you don't see the medieval Japanese blaming the weird hovering lights on aliens. They're just very suspicious of foxes.
Yokai, it's the spirit parade.
And because of the backdrop of Shintoism, the wandering spirits of Buddhism, etc., they had an ontology that supported ghosts. And so they didn't need aliens. So what happens when we discover that the aliens are ghosts? Anyway, in the West, Christianity created a problem for regular ghost belief because souls were supposed to go to heaven or hell after death. This left little room for spirits wandering the earth. Yet ghosts continued to be reported and taken seriously, even in works like Shakespeare's Hamlet, where the ghost is treated as a real apparition witnessed by multiple people. In fact, Hamlet's ghost addresses this ontological dichotomy directly.
Quote, I am thy father's spirit, doomed for a certain term to walk the night, and for the day confined to waste and fires, till the foul crimes done in my days of nature are burnt and purged away.
See, I think that explains it pretty well. If you look at this as a case study, Dad is confined to hell's fire by day, but free to walk the earth at night. I guess it works for ghosts the way it does for people with day jobs.
Medieval Christians were taught to test the spirits because a ghost might not truly be the dead person that they claimed to be or appeared to be. Some believed these apparitions could be demons in disguise, while others accepted that holy figures like St. Thomas Aquinas could be visited by spirits asking for prayer or warning from beyond the grave.
Now it is said that Aquinas, the consummate scholar, used this opportunity of being visited by ghosts to probe for information. Notice how it's not witchy when Thomas Aquinas does it for some reason.
To be fair, it doesn't sound like he conjured them on purpose.
You hear that, John D?
No, I am John D. from the grave. I did everything right.
The first ghost which appeared to Aquinas was a fellow Dominican friar, Brother Romanus. Appearing unexpectedly and unknowing of his death, Aquinas greeted his brother in the cloth warmly before Romanus told him outright, "I am in fact dead, but I have permission to visit you because of your merits." According to Romanus, he had been holed up in purgatory for 15 long days before Aquinas' prayers had impelled his release. This encounter reportedly reinforced Aquinas' views on the efficacy of intercessory prayer for the dead. So the ghost shows up and he's like, "Hey man, you want a Coca-Cola?" He's like, I'm not alive. I know you think I'm dead, actually. He's like, "Oh, damn." So he didn't even know that this ghost was dead because he appeared so normal. He just looked like his friend. Like he didn't have chains, you know what I mean? He wasn't all spooky. He just was his friend. And his friend is like, "I get to break the rules and come visit you because God loves you so damn much."
Damn.
And that most importantly, and this is also important for magicians, his prayers had an appreciable effect on the inhabitants there in purgatory such that his friend could leave earlier.
So Romanus didn't have like a Marley and Marley type aesthetic to him?
No! What's that, by the way?
A Christmas Carol.
Oh, yeah, no Christmas Carol spooky going on.
You mentioned like no chains and stuff. Like that's...
I'm familiar with the Bill Murray version, Scrooged. That's the one that's tattooed into my brain. So Aquinas was also visited by his own deceased sister. She was an abbess. She appeared asking for an even greater abundance of prayers, describing her sufferings in purgatory. Aquinas and his community prayed fervently for her in response. She actually returned later to thank him, announcing that she had been released into heaven and offered a prophecy-like encouragement that there was a magnificent place awaiting him in paradise, urging him to finish his works here on earth. She also mentioned that yet another Dominican brother was also needing of prayers. Are we beginning to see a pattern here?
I like that it's typical across so many different cultures to pray for the dead, for them to be able to transition.
Yeah.
Well, you could see how if you were being hyper intellectual about it, oh, we don't need to pray for the dead because God judges them in the afterlife. They're either in heaven or they're in hell. But here, Aquinas is giving us a reason to pray for the dead, that it does have an influence on their soul. But there are some caveats too. According to Aquinas' supplement to the Summa Theologiae, question 69, answer 3, he affirms that separated souls can appear to the living by God's permission. Why? For the living's instruction, or for intimidation. In the case of the damned, the Christmas Carol we just talked about, that would be a reason, according to Aquinas. Like you have to scare Bill Murray into being a better person.
And I seen a woman, a blind woman, pacing up and down the sidewalk.
They could also be released to solicit suffrages.
Meaning prayers and good works.
Yes, like they could come from purgatory to beg for the souls in purgatory. Sounds kind of metal. He explicitly references patristic examples like the martyr Felix appearing during a siege. So like if God wants to send a ghost instead of an angel, he can do that. Naturally, however, there are some strong motivations for a ghost to escape purgatory.
According to Thomas Aquinas in Summa Theologiae,
quote, I answer that in purgatory there will be a twofold pain. One will be the pain of loss, poena damni, namely the delay of the divine vision, and the pain of sense, poena sensus, namely punishment by corporeal fire. With regard to both, the least pain of purgatory surpasses the greatest pain of this life, for the more a thing is desired, the more painful is its absence. And since after this life the holy souls desire the sovereign good with the most intense longing, both because their longing is not held back by the weight of the body, and because, had there been no obstacle, they would already have gained the goal of enjoying the sovereign good, it follows that they grieve exceedingly for their delay. Again, since pain is not hurt, but the sense of hurt, the more sensitive a thing is, the greater the pain caused by that which hurts it. Wherefore hurts inflicted on the more sensible parts cause the greatest pain. And because all bodily sensation is from the soul, it follows of necessity that the soul feels the greatest pain when a hurt is inflicted on the soul itself. That the soul suffers pain from the bodily fire is at present taken for granted, for we shall treat of this matter further on supplement 7030. Therefore it follows that the pain of purgatory, both of loss and of sense, surpasses all the pains of this life. End quote.
So it sucks. being in purgatory.
Christianity really threw a wrench into the traditions of common ghost lore, especially as the belief in purgatory became so widespread, leading people to fund chantries where prayers and masses were said for the dead in hopes of helping their souls reach heaven.
This era also illuminated the deep rot within institutions that cloaked themselves in sanctity. The practice of purchasing indulgences meant that one could effectively buy a shorter sentence in purgatory. I always thought this was kind of strange. I mean, we learned about it in art history and stuff.
It is pretty cringe.
It's like because the Roman Catholic Church pretty much, they were like franchising churches. Like they were selling these indulgences, right? You could do whatever you want, man. Just buy this for like, 50 gold and, you can have whatever you want and you'll be forgiven.
Yeah.
Is this like
you can
a
go to heaven.
ticket?
Yes.
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 One free anal sex.
In the future, can't wait to see if you open up the gates for me.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Or cheese pizza. So yeah, as the Renaissance dawned, spectral conviction endured despite the resurgence of classical knowledge. Even as scholars became slightly more enlightened and began dismantling old hierarchies of authority, they were obsessively documenting the art of dying well, while secretly harboring their own primitive anxieties regarding the restless dead. A particularly colorful and extreme example comes from Dominican preacher Johann Tetzel, who lived from 1465 to 1519, whose flamboyant indulgence sales campaigns in Germany became a flashpoint for the Reformation. So all the trouble began when Tetzel was commissioned to promote a plenary indulgence, which is a full remission of temporal punishment by designation of the Catholic Church. And this was tied to funding St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. To promote the sale of these indulgences, he turned the endeavor into a theatrical spectacle, arriving in towns like some kind of WWF mainliner, papal bulls displayed on velvet or gold cloth, dramatic sermons evoking the cries of souls in purgatory begging for release, and even pyrotechnic displays simulating purgatorial flames that donations of money could help extinguish.
So,
Erica Kirk?
Erica Kirk, yeah, basically.
No, this is like a revival. This is like the Alex Jones show.
I created hair loss.
Except you like buy male vitality and like you can hit the target and he falls in the vat of water or like,
He's
gay
like-
frog chemicals or whatever.
Going down the aisle, and, like throwing sin tickets to people who are like clamoring to touch them.
Oh no, this is the Oprah show. This is like Ellen. That's what it's a spectacle.
And you get a butt
They're like-
stuff? And you get a butt stuff?
Yes, exactly. Look under your chair and you will find that you can sin for a whole week. Enjoy your vacation. It's like a full paid vacation, but you can just sin.
I feel like that's what they do at the closed door parties with each other.
Yeah, pretty much. They're like, apparently there's like stages. So at the beginning, there's warning signs. It's like, just leave. If you're not ready for the next room, then you need to leave.
It's a trap. I showed you exactly what people are capable of.
And it's done by like rooms or something. So it's kind of like a ride gets scarier and scarier at the theme park. And you're like, I'm going home. It's 7:30. I'm leaving. So, but this guy is over the top. The most notorious and spectacularly over the top claims attributed to him include the assertion that his indulgences could absolve even the hypothetical sin of raping the Virgin Mary herself.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
Something reportedly denied in stronger terms, but which circulated widely enough to provoke Martin Luther's 75th thesis. Quote, to consider papal indulgences so great that they could absolve a man even if he had done the impossible and had violated the Mother of God is madness, unquote. So he wrote a whole paper on that. That's how much it spread.
Well, it sounds like this is one of the things that was nailed to the church door, right? Like,
Yeah, it must have been part of that essay because, like, if indulgences were, like, actually conceived as a positive net for the community, like, oh, if you killed someone by accident, like, it's okay, you can still go to heaven. That's completely different than, like, okay, for the next week, everything stays in Las Vegas. That's a completely different train of thought. And it looks like this snake oil salesman, Tetzel, was promoting it to the point where it was literally like Alex Jones' male vitality.
What happens on the island stays on the island.
That too. Another vivid story involves a nobleman who asked Tetzel for an indulgence covering a future sin, maybe for like a pre-absolution for a planned wrongdoing this guy was contriving. Tetzel allegedly complied for the payment. The nobleman then had his men ambush and beat Tetzel.
We held him down and we just wailed on his legs.
Declaring the assault was the very sin in question, demonstrating the perceived absurdity of the entire affair. So, yeah, some guy was just like, can you absolve me from the sin of beating? And, like, proceeds to beat him up badly.
See, that's a good one.
Yeah, he used his wish on, like, kicking the shit out of this excuse my French.
Dude.
Whether it's true or not, Tetzel was known for the slogan, as soon as the coin in the coffer rings, the soul from purgatory springs.
Wow.
When the Protestant Reformation challenged the Catholic idea of purgatory, it left ghosts without a clear religious explanation. Many Protestants, including James I of England, saw ghostly apparitions as tricks of the devil, while Renaissance magicians like John Dee and Edward Kelly believed spirits could still be summoned through necromancy and magical tools.
There's a number of Christians I've met that believe all spiritual apparitions are properly the domain of the devil, who's attempting to draw its perceiver away from God and toward occultisms. It's not an entirely unconvincing argument, but I have met people that believe that.
The text also brings up the wild hunt. Lots of people associated this term with The Witcher 3, but it's a real thing in folklore. A widespread European belief about a terrifying procession of ghostly riders, black horses, and monstrous hounds sweeping through the night, sometimes linked to the pagan figure Wodan, aka Odin, but for the Germans. Isn't that right, Hans?
Oh yes, Ludwig. We've spoken about the wild hunt quite a bit on the show's past.
Yeah.
The motif likely draws from Proto-Germanic and earlier shamanic ancestral veneration. In German context, it's frequently centered on, as Tim said, Woden or Odin, the lord of frenzy, god of the dead, wind, poetry, and ecstatic inspiration. Odin leads the hunt on his 8-legged steed Sleipnir, a psychopomp-type figure accompanied by Valkyries, the dead, wolves, or hounds, thundering across the winter sky during Yule or otherwise stormy nights. I've argued Santa riding his sleigh with spectral reindeer is a fairly stark Christianization of this ancient Norse motif. Well, it might be Santa Claus or even Jesus Christ if you consider the rapture. The central figure would often be not necessarily Odin, but Thor, Pluto, Saturn, Satan. Either way, the Wild Hunt shows how older pagan ghost traditions survived inside of Christian Europe under a different guise. I always love to point out the famous American edition of this myth comes to us from Johnny Cash's Ghost Riders in the Sky, which appropriately depicts the devil as the leader of this spectral cavalry. And as Mari pointed out earlier, the Japanese have their own version called the Night March of 100 Demons, where every year the yokai, who looks like a gray alien, his name is Nurarayon, which also sounds like a name of a gray alien, he leads the yokai through the streets of Japan during summer nights. And if you even hear or see any of these yokai marching through the streets, you could end up spirited away by them unless you're protected by exorcism scrolls written by a Buddhist sorcerer.
You know what's even crazier though is aliens are actually part of their pantheon. It shows up in folklore and anime. It's just the green alien with the saucer from the 50s. It's part of the zeitgeist. So how they have the statue of the Daruma or the Tanuki, or fox statues, it's the same thing as they get these I want to believe keychains from Area 51 with the gray saucer and the green alien.
Yeah.
And you see it in a lot of their animes and stuff. There's this zeitgeist pantheon figure of an alien with a UFO that kind of shows up a little bit.
I've heard it argued that America can be conceptualized as a Shinto nation with shrines and local spirits. I could think of one from my local area. Along the coast, there used to be this giant Santa Claus, and you could see him from the freeway. I believe he was actually positioned on Santa Claus Claus Lane. I think that was the street. Either way, you can't just destroy the big Santa Claus. You have to move him. And the Japanese are like, this is basically what Shinto shrines are. Like, you have this local deity that you pay offerings to, and it kind of like is like a weird mascot that assures the harmony of the local spirits. Like, for instance, my city had a meltdown when they tore down the giant Arby's sign. And this was like,
oh, it's the one with the hat.
Yeah.
The fucking like light bulbs are up. Dude, you can't get rid of that.
No, you can't. Nobody ate at that Arby's. Everyone hated Arby's, but they're like, you can't just take down the sign because it messes with the egregore of the whole city. So what am I saying? I'm saying like the Big Boy Burger,
That's the thing.
that is a spirit, basically. And you could think of it like a ghost and you could give offerings to it. Or if you piss it off, you could have a very bad day.
It's a servitor. It's not really. It's a homunculus.
Egregores are egregores and people too.
That's the thing, is the Japanese just have it systematized as part of their, culture.
Yeah, it like integrates automatically after like 100 years, right?
The argument being that we have the same thing, it's just unconscious. And so like, okay, if you go to New Mexico or wherever, and there's like the one truck stop with the big alien, that's it. That's the local spirit. That's the Shinto shrine. It's the truck stop.
So beautiful.
Even in the late 17th century, belief in ghosts was still taken seriously, especially during witch trials. Books like Sadducismus Triumphatus by Joseph Glanville, 1681, defended ghost stories as credible and is a rich 17th century source for ghost lore in Christendom. It served as a philosophical and empirical defense against Sadducism, which is materialist skepticism denying spirits conceptualized as akin to the ancient Sadducees, who rejected ideas of resurrection and angels. Inside the book, Glanville, a Royal Society Fellow and Anglican clergyman, compiles well-attested apparition stories to prove the reality of ghosts and their respective domains. Glanville, who some might call the original paranormal investigator, took it upon himself to dig into the chaos at the Montpesson residence during the 1660s. This bizarre account is often cited as the first documented instance of a poltergeist within Britain. The following summary is from Kate Cherrill's The Drummer of Tedworth, Britain's first poltergeist, on burialsandbeyond.com.
Quote, in 1661, John Mompesson, a landowner, excise officer, and commission officer in the militia, was visiting Lungershall in Wiltshire when he came across a local vagrant named William Drury. William had been making a nuisance of himself in the town, playing his drum relentlessly and begging for money, much to the annoyance of all the townsfolk. Mompesson confronted the drummer and found him to be in possession of counterfeit documents permitting him to busk.
No busking! No busking without papers, you friggin' hobo!
To be making a noise. Mompesson brought a case against the drummer, and the local bailiff confiscated the drum, but William was relieved to be freed before he was taken to trial. So they just took his instrument away. They're like, all right, get back out there, you rapscallion.
That's all they did. That's all. They just took his stuff. I think it's funny that it's still basically the medieval era, and
you're just banging on that drum all day and you don't want to work. You have to go to jail.
Papers, please. Like what? It's the medieval era.
Wait, you got a license for that drum, mate?
What? Really?
I don't want to work. I just want
to bang on my drum all day.
You imagine getting in a time
That's
machine
right.
and going back 500 years to banging a drum, and some cop comes up, he's like, do you have a license for that? You're like, what was the point of this?
What are you talking about? I'm playing a drum.
I'm playing a fucking drum. It's 1661, sir. You got papers.
Yeah, but it's...
So the world's always been lame. Okay.
I mean, you should just be quiet. But
so they didn't kill him. This is important. They just took his drum, okay?
Yeah, took his drum and let him go.
Instant grudge.
So Mompesson returned to Tedworth after this, without another thought of the drummer or his unwelcome rhythms. However, in the interim, the offending drum arrived at the magistrate's house, forwarded by the bailiff.
You take the drum, mate. Like, what is he supposed to do with the drum? So he sends it to him, okay.
Yeah, as soon as the drum arrived at the house, Mompesson's family were plagued with nocturnal bangs and knocks, hammering on the doors and outside of the building. And above them, emanating from the roof, came relentless thuds and drumming. One night, exasperated by the strange noises, Mompesson chased the sounds through the house with his pistol drawn, but to no avail. So after a month had passed, the drumming increased in its ferocity, moving inside the house and terrorizing the room where the instrument was placed. This was unnerving enough for the family, but their fear would increase as the sounds began to focus on their children children's bedroom.
It's like, oh yeah, you think I'm loud and annoying? Well, so are your children.
Yeah, and how do you tell the difference?
Maybe it was just the kids like taking the drum and being like, awesome.
On the roof?
Yeah, that's true. From the children's room emanated these loud animalistic scratching noises coming from beneath the children's beds. Their bed frames were beaten and the children were shaken and lifted from their beds like a poltergeist. These sounds and the family's restless sleep would continue for like 2 years. The sounds were soon not confined to the night, but they rattled about the house in the day and objects moved by unseen hands and terrified staff.
The drumming will continue until morale improves.
The servants also suffered from this, like the family they served. They were lifted from their beds, they had bed covers thrown back, and their possessions cast about their rooms. Some were even pinned to their beds, and despite attempts to chase the unseen spirit with swords, the paranormal activity continued in earnest.
They're like chasing these ghosts around with like swords and pistols.
Yeah.
Go away, ghost. I'm trying to sleep. I'll pew you if you can ruffle my pillow again.
And they're the servants too, so it like went into the like workers' quarters and did shit. So it was like trying to take down this house as hard as possible.
Shouldn't have taken the guy's drum.
Yeah, I know, right? So meanwhile, the drumming became so loud at times that it woke nearby villagers. And imagine, this house is so large. These people have got to be like, meters away from this villa, but they're woken up by the drumming noises. And then the public started to complain, and it turned the house into kind of like a neighborhood curiosity.
You think they were just raving in there? And it's like, it was actually a haunted drum.
Yeah.
Sorry, officer, I confiscated a haunted drum from a hobo, and frankly, I can't stop shuffling, sir.
Yeah, my house is possessed and I can't stop dancing.
The drum works with the same logic that it's like, oh yeah, I'll give you something to complain about.
Boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats. There were also lights inside the house happening. They're just like moving about independently while like all these sounds were happening, and there were horrible sulfurous smells emanating from unknown sources. Like, it's kind of like the Addams Family goes on a hardcore rave.
The system is down.
So if they had trick-or-treating back then, man, that would be the house. They would be giving out full candy bars because it is a haunted house. Like, if you make it back, you better have a full candy bar. That's all I'm saying.
Butterfingers.
See, that's the issue. Is like, well, how do we have ghosts? Like, okay, well, they could leave purgatory. Well, in this case, nobody even died. Explain it now,
Well, the ghost could be, like, possessed by a spirit, okay? This could happen.
What if they already had a ghost and it wasn't really upset until they brought it a drum that it couldn't play?
Maybe the drum was possessed.
It's an evil drum.
Yeah, drum is yokai.
But but has anybody ever read Terry Pratchett Discworld? The Sound of Music. There is like a possessed guitar, and whoever plays it is just like taken over by it. But if you leave the guitar by itself, it does shit like it's possessed for sure. So I feel like the drum is possessed in this case.
Guitars have a traditional association with the underworld. Drums, I'm not so sure. I think drums are really old, so it'd be hard to... They're probably associated with Netzach and war, I would imagine.
The unconscious, too.
Well, it sure
drums are one of the best ways to go into a trance.
Yeah, maybe this guy had been using the drum to go to a trance. Maybe he was a shaman. Anyway, it was under this prevailing belief in the reality of spirits and their interactions with the living that Christendom experienced the relative madness of the Salem witch trials. The proceedings saw accusers, frequently young women, testifying to the presence of specters or malevolent spirits of the defendants, claiming that these apparitions launched physical assaults even while the accused were seen physically elsewhere. At the time, Chief Justice William Stoughton officially sanctioned the use of spectral testimony, a decision that directly paved the way for dozens of convictions and 20 executions. A standout example is the case of Martha Corey, an outspoken skeptic of the trials herself. Accusers, the afflicted girls, claimed her specter appeared to them, pinching, biting, and choking them, sometimes in open court. where the girls would convulse, scream, and point at specters invisible to others. One girl even alleged Corey's specter brought a yellow bird, a familiar spirit, that perched on her hand or head, sucking on her fingers as a sign of the witchcraft. Corey's calm denial and visible piety were consistently dismissed. The spectral attacks were taken as proof, and she was convicted and hanged on September 22nd, 1692.
Dude, this shit is crazy. This is literally the Slender Man murders happening in mass.
You're right.
It's female hysteria. It's a thing. Look it up. I'm sorry. But it happens. It's a social contagion. It's a social disease. If the Slender Man is out there, then it can do anything, and you don't have to be there, but like bad things will happen.
This actually happened to me once.
Ugh.
I had an interest in Satanism, okay? I had the Satanic Bible. I took it with me as a counselor to space camp. I don't even know if I had it with me. But every now and then I'd say, "Hail Satan," just to be funny, right? Well, one of the fellow counselors picked up saying it as well. And he was in Rocket Lab, and he just let it slip. Like, one of the kids was like, where do I put, like, what do I do with this? He's like, I don't know, just put it on here. I don't know, "Hail Satan." And he just, like, moved on and said the next thing. Well, like, one of the little girls caught him saying it. And, like, dude, like, in an hour, it was 3 girls, and they're like, I'm seeing specters, and, like, I feel like I'm being choked and possessed, and, like, ever since he said it, there's, like, this dark energy, and they, like, wound up all the adults, like, the whole day, and they were, like, terrified they were gonna call their parents, and then, like, we all had to, like, suck up to these 3 girls for, like, the rest of the week. It was a mess. Like, this actually sort of kind of happened, and it was my fault. Like,
that's insane.
Wow, dude.
But, like, you can't even crack a joke.
Hey, calm down there.
I mean, they were like 8-year-old girls. I mean, just as kids,
Yeah.
they were like,
Here's the reason why you don't curse in front of children. You don't make a dirty joke. You don't say that shit in front of them because they think it's real.
Kind of funny to hear a little kid go, shit.
Eventually, somebody got sick of the crap, and Governor William Phips finally pulled the plug on the Salem witch trials, largely due to the mounting skepticism surrounding the validity of spectral evidence. Because, little girls pointing and screaming in court were leading to the death of, like, full-grown people can only go on so long before someone's like, okay, enough of this.
That's enough. We're done.
We gotta do gooder. We gotta be betterer.
We killed that crotchety old curmudgeon at the end of the street. I think we could call it an evening. I think we're done now.
By the Enlightenment, educated thinkers became more skeptical of ghosts, witches, and supernatural claims. Deists imagined the universe as a clockwork system created by God, but no longer directly interfered with, leaving intellectuals caught between rational arguments against ghosts and the fact that many ordinary people still believed in them.
So, quick rundown, what's deism? It's basically like you believe God exists, but he created the universe and then stepped back, and he's not interfering with it at all. And part of that means no ghosts and no supernatural activity and no miracles. And it's widely circulated that the founding fathers of the United States were deists, which I think is just a code word for saying they were Masons, but it has been said. Okay.
I don't know. Everybody's had that time in the shower where they're just showering and it's at nighttime and something turns off the lights and then slowly touches them.
Reminisce sometime.
Bro, I wasn't a believer until I married someone that attracts paranormal activity. Now I understand why some people just treat it like it's no big deal and other people they've never experienced it at all. It's
what? Everybody's been in the shower and experienced like poltergeist activity, right?
Not until I got married. Now if a ghost touches my butt in the shower, I can blame my wife.
Well, that's why you gotta shower together.
No, because then you can't pee in the shower. Well, I guess you can, but it's more interesting.
You can. Oh, it's fun.
But then what if the hand still reaches that it touches you? Then you know
what if it clogs the pee hole?
Okay, how do you even know it's your partner's hand that's touching you? Huh?
See, this is getting crazy now. I'm getting paranoid.
It doesn't even matter as long as you can pee in the shower. Ghosts were not only the subjects of belief, but also a growing scrutiny and creative reinvention in the 18th century. A revealing real-life case from 1737 in Aberdeenshire, Scotland, captures the shift towards testing supernatural claims rather than accepting them at face value. At Brigand Farm, near the chapel of Garioch, young Geordie Watt began reporting nocturnal visits from the ghost of his recently deceased mother. The apparition did not simply appear, it spoke with authority, insisting that,
quote, "It was the will of the great God that Geordie Watt should marry Tibbie Mortimer," end quote.
Because the servant girl
was now in a gracious state.
Does that mean she's ovulating? Does Tibbie have a ghost of ovulation?
Probably.
Just go with the flow.
The local Kirk session became involved after the ghost escalated its demands. When the haunting was finally investigated, the spectral mother was exposed as none other than Tibbie Mortimer herself. Da, da, da. She was disguised and attempting to manipulate Geordie into marriage through fear and supposed divine command.
What? Wait.
Yes.
Isn't that her son?
No.
Yeah. It says young Geordie Watt reported nocturnal visits from the ghost of his recently deceased mother.
Yes.
And
So Tibbie Mortimer dresses up as the ghost of this guy's dead mom and is like, hey, you should go Tibbie Mortimer because she's ready for babies. And then they find the ghost and they pull the mask off. And it's Tibbie Mortimer herself.
oh.
That's how bad she wanted the D. She dressed up
Some
as...
Scooby-Doo shit.
Some
It's like the
horny
ghost
ghost.
is,
Yeah.
it's the ghost posing as a ghost of something else.
Where do you guys find these like fanfic ghost stories?
This happened.
Yeah, but
This
it's
is from
like,
the book, dude.
I get it, but like horny ghosts.
Sometimes ghosts are horny. They come at you in your dreams.
Dude, they want you.
No. The ghost wasn't horny. Tibbie Mortimer was horny, and she dressed up as a ghost and then
Yeah.
told
Oh
the...
wait, this is just a real person that's alive.
Yes!
Yeah.
Tibbie Mortimer dressed up as a ghost.
It's like, go fuck that girl. You know that girl.
Who's the ghost?
Damn,
Hey.
dude.
The girl.
Scandalous.
I'm your mom, and you should mate with that person. Like, just make babies. It's fine.
Taking them cream pies.
So it turns out the town investigated and discovered it was, in fact, Tibbie Mortimer posing as the ghost of the mom.
Oh,
And they
man.
exposed her. This is the worst part of the story for me. Like, could they help her out? Like, why did they have to?
Supposed to be really embarrassed.
Yeah, why is that a big deal? Well, I guess it is deception. That's always bad because it's not consensual. So yeah, fuck her.
I mean,
That's what you wanted.
Stupid ghost bitch.
it'd be embarrassing to, be exposed for you being so thirsty that you dress up as someone's dead mom to try and convince them.
That's pretty thirsty.
That's pretty thirsty.
Thirsty ghost.
It's called commitment.
Reading is hard when I'm...
Smoking that danky stank.
That's true. That's true.
Okay.
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah, it is.
Bring it back, y'all. Bring it back.
Lock in.
To the left now, y'all.
Everybody clap your hands.
Take it back one time. 2 steps one time. Cha-cha now, y'all. You have no idea.
But if you'd like to hear the rest of this episode where we discuss Queen Victoria's obsession with mediumship,
Oh, it's like Howl's Moving Castle, where he's like summoned by the Queen to fight in World War II as a Tengu, like a yokai magician master.
What the?
We're gonna say the words cock and fanny, and it's not what you think.
Gonna be way better than what you think.
along with how to create a ghost from scratch,
Will-O-Wisp.
Bustin' makes me feel good. Oh.
and what to do if you see your doppelganger, then please visit www.patreon.com/thewholerabbit, where your monthly donation of just $5 will not only get you the extended half of this episode, you'll get the second half of every single one of our Weird Occult episodes, which stretch back over 7 years. I'll send you a 5x5 high-quality vinyl sticker of our Big Bunny Baphomet cover art, and you'll get invited to our super-duper secret Discord server, which is AOL Instant Messenger for grown-ups. Thank you, everybody. Eat carrots and shoot lasers.
Pew pew.
Pew, pew.